Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Nayasim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you are good. I am sure majority of you may have seen this video coming out from Florida. So there is this congresswoman, Florida congresswoman. Her name is Kaza Comack, who was provided with abortion despite an anti-abortion bill in Florida. And I am asking, why is it that some people are able to get it and some people are not able to get it? Each time I talk about how there is two, let's say, judiciary system and all that, one for people that look like me, one for other people. Everything in United States has been set to work the way it should be working, because each time I talk about how everything is broken, but no, it is not broken. That is how they want it to work. When the health workers were scared because of the anti-abortion bill, she called the governor's office, and the governor told the health workers, nobody is going to penalize you or something. Just give her what she wants as long as she's safe, because her life at this point in time is at stake and we have to save her life. So now some people have the opportunity to tell you that they want to save their life, not the baby. Now, some people I just don't get it, but it is not okay. Let's get into this video.
This is deceased mother of two, Adriana Smith, who went into her local emergency room because she had a headache that she could not get rid of, and was sent back home only the following day to be diagnosed with a brain aneurysm, which led to a brain bleed and her death. She is survived by two children, her son that she previously had, and the baby that she was made to carry while kept alive on life support due to Georgia's one heartbeat rule. At the time of her death, she was less than the amount of months that previously you were allowed to get a legal abortion. This is Kat Kamak, 37-year-old Republican congresswoman from Florida. She was diagnosed as having an ectopic pregnancy. People at the facility were afraid to provide her with the medication that would invoke an actual abortion due to Florida's non-abortion laws. She has not given birth. She is no longer pregnant. Because what did she do? She went up the food chain to the governor for the governor to okay her having an abortion. She's alive and well. Healthcare providers in Georgia allowed Miss Adrienne Smith to be kept alive on life support after being brain dead, and forced her unborn child to suffer until they felt as if they were at a point where the child could survive without any of the natural things that occurred in a woman's body with the child being attached to them. They ran a medical experiment on Miss Adriana Smith in order to make a point, with under the guise of that they're following the law. She's gone. Kat Kamak is still alive, even though her pregnancy was only life-threatening to her. Only life-threatening to her. In the case of Miss Adriana Smith, both of them would have died had she not been kept on life support. Miss Kamak here wasn't made to experience any of that in order to preserve the child, because her life was more important. The fucking hypocrisy. But I just wanted to make sure that y'all could see this, that people recognize this, that people heard about this. This is what so-called anti-abortion laws really are. It's another it's another way to have some sense of control. Nothing more, nothing less. And control over the bodies of others. And when there's privilege involved, the rules are never going to be enforced the same.
So let me get this right. They forced our sister, Adriana Smith, to remain on life support after she was diagnosed with the brain bleed because she was carrying a fetus that was less than 8 weeks old. Now, at the time, she was in the time frame to have a legal abortion because they said it was up to 8 weeks. She was less than 8 weeks. But they decided to use her as a guinea pig. And despite her family's wishes of her being taken off life support, they forced the issue of her being on life support, saying the one heartbeat rule. They forced that life support system on our sister until her body started to decay. And then they forcibly removed a 1 pound newborn baby that will not survive. So they used her as a guinea pig, even though she was within the rights of her family, could have taken her off of that life support because she was not that far along that she could not get an abortion per their law. But now you got Kat Cammack, senator from Florida, who needed an abortion because she had an ectopic pregnancy. When they told her no at the clinic, she decided to go all the way up to the governor. And the governor told the clinic to go ahead and give her her abortion, and you won't be penalized. No one will be arrested. So the white tea woman, senator, Republican, she doesn't have to follow the same rules as our sister Adriana Smith, who was already pronounced legally dead from the brain bleed. But this white chick, her privilege can get her up to the governor's office. And he says, oh, okay, give her one. So let me get this right. The Republican Party, who is behind making abortions illegal, have the right to pick and choose who can and who cannot get an abortion? Because, see, there are other women out here having those same types of pregnancies. But they don't get to call the governor and say, hey, they don't get to call the higher-ups. They bleed in cars. They go back home and have excruciating pains and delivering unalived babies. And they're becoming so infected from this. Some of them are even becoming, they can't even have kids anymore. But the white tea woman, and all her privilege, can make a phone call and she's exempt. We should be demanding the arrest of Kat Cammack, senator in Florida. We should be demanding her arrest. She broke the law. They said this. They set the freaking rules. They set the law, and then they gonna break it? No, we need to be demanding her arrest. She had an illegal abortion. Nowhere have they ever said any considerations would be made, whether it's either the woman or the mother carrying the child, life is at risk. They will not make any exceptions unless you privileged. Is that it? Y'all left that part out. Republicans, look what y'all have put in these offices. Look which your choicing skills have brought upon this country. You put in a hypocritical, gaslighting, lying, betraying, cheating, pedophiles, rapists. Y'all put these degenerates in office. You happy? Is it great again yet? We should be demanding the arrest of Kat Cummings, senator in Florida. She needs to be arrested. She broke the law. The law they set. And if they're not made to follow the law, why should anybody else have to? If they are not held to the same laws that we who put them in office are held to, oh, hell to the no. We need to be demanding her arrest. Where's the petition? Let's get it started. She needs to be arrested. She voted for this crap. They all did. Now, you're going to pay the cost just like every last one of us. We need to be demanding that heifer's arrest right now. Adriana Smith, rest in peace, sis. But these holier than thou, hypocritical, I'm better than you, jackasses in these positions are making these horrific decisions and these horrific laws, and then they don't even abide by them they damn self. She needs to be arrested now.
This is Republican State Rep Kat Cammack, and last year she was pregnant, and then she got some devastating news. She found out that she had an ectopic pregnancy, and not only was she at risk to lose the ability to have children in the future, she was also at risk of dying. Good news is there are steps that could be taken. There's drugs she could take that would end that already not viable pregnancy and spare her life. And so, of course, she expected that to happen. The only problem is she's in Florida, and the 6-week abortion ban had just taken effect. And doctors were like, I don't know if we can do that. I'm not sure with this new law in place. If we can do that, I don't want to lose my license or go to jail. And she sprang into action. No, that can't happen to you. I was a supporter of this bill. I know what's in it. See, I'm good to go. You can do it to me. And they're like, I don't know. I got to look into it. And then she even went as far as to call the governor's office late at night, but no one picked up because it was the middle of the night. Fortunately, within a few hours, doctors made the decision to go ahead and administer and take the risk, and her life and her fertility were spared. But that had to be a scary experience. This is something that we've been concerned about women all across the country with bans like this having to deal with. So obviously, when this happened to her, and she did this interview in the Wall Street Journal, obviously she talked about her personal experience and how these laws can create issues and put women's lives at risk, right? Wrong. That's not what she did. What she did instead was not fault the Florida law for her experience. Instead, she accuses the left of scaring medical professionals with messaging. And that's why this happened. Because of the left. The left caused that. The left didn't scare those doctors. Your poorly written bill did. Okay? Attorneys got on the internet and started talking and saying, hey, I looked at this bill, and if I'm representing a doctor and this doctor contacts me and says, how much exposure do I have with this? I say the problem is that it says some things are okay and some things aren't, but it's not real clear on the language. It doesn't define it well. So if we're just talking about limiting your risk as much as possible, I'd say don't do any of the procedures. That's the advice that attorneys were being forced to give their clientele who are medical professionals. Like, if they feel like railroading you and going after you, it feels like they kind of could with this. But even with that set aside, can we talk about one more element of this that Kat is failing to acknowledge? Her level of privilege in that situation. Okay, she was able to confidently tell these doctors, you're not going to get in trouble. I'm a state representative. Like, I got your back. I was a part of this. I understand. She was able to pull it up and look at it and start talking about it line by line. I don't know if the average woman going through that would think to do that, or would even be listened to when they tried to do that. And then she called the governor's office. I mean, that's a nice move to have. If she had waited till morning, someone would have been there to answer. The average woman experiencing this can't just call the governor's office. She got to live. She got to move on, get pregnant again, and have a child. A luxury that isn't afforded all of the women who have a similar experience to hers. And instead of acknowledging that and saying, let me work to make that better, let me at least work to change the language to make it clearer so doctors don't have to worry, she just blames the left. There are women who have literally died because of laws like this in states around the country. And all she can do, instead of standing up for women and being like, this was a terrible experience, I have to make sure no one experiences this, she's just going to toe the company line like a good little soul.
I just found out today that a Republican representative just had an abortion. Republican MAGA representative Kat Kamak, I think, was pregnant, except her baby turned ectopic. So she had to get rid of it. She had to get an abortion or else she would die as well. There was no saving the baby. And so, like any normal woman, you go to the hospital, get help, you make the difficult decision to be like, you really got to sit with it. And it's like, well, there's nothing I can do. This pregnancy is over. And so it's really down to, do I want to save my own life or do I also want to die with this baby? Most women will choose to save their own life. So it seems like a done deal. Except she was one of the front runners of banning post 6 week abortion in Florida. And so for the longest time, they were refusing her care. So she was basically dying because of her own bill that she was passing. Like, don't get me wrong, as a woman, I could never fully just make a joke about that and not feel some type of way about it. But, like, you cannot make this up. Like, honestly, I feel like I should make a series about Republican hypocrisy because there's just so much every single day. Luckily, there's a silver lining. There's a happy ending. You know, she was able to get the care she needs. She's not dead right now. Because, I mean, I'm a Christian. I don't wish death on anybody for real. But now she's blaming the left. Say this leftist fear-mongering. That did what? Leftist fear-mongering that made getting you the care that you needed illegal? Can somebody arrest her? Because I think she just got an abortion, which is illegal in Florida.
Republican Representative Kat Kamak needed an abortion, so she had one. She got one. You want to know how she got one? She called the governor's office. Because the medical professionals in Florida know that the 6-week total abortion ban is in place, and they didn't know what to do. So she called the governor's office, and the governor's office told those healthcare providers, it's totally okay, give her an abortion, you're not going to lose your license, you're not going to lose anything, you're not going to lose your jobs, give her the abortion that she needs to save her life. So if you're super privileged, then you can get an abortion that's going to be life-saving. You can have access to healthcare that's necessary for women. This happens all the time, by the way. Miscarriages, hemorrhaging, ectopic pregnancies, all reasons to need an abortion for a healthcare reason to save somebody's life. But unless you're privileged and you can call the governor's office, there might be a murky gray area that might be causing confusion where your provider can't just make that determination based off their expertise and knowledge and their medical license. A Republican needed an abortion, so she got one, while actively voting against other women's rights to their health care.
This is all I got from this video, and each time I said that there are two judiciary system in United States, and there are two, everything is two. No matter how you try to cover it and all that, you absolutely will know what I am saying. I am sure you all remember Adriana Smith. I brought her video here yesterday or 2 days ago, if I am not mistaken, how she passed, right? If you are connected, your life is safe. If you are not connected, your life is not safe. She should be arrested because abortion is illegal in the state where she lives. The particular state where she got the abortion, it is illegal. because she's connected, she has to call the governor's office. And the governor said to the health practitioner, give it to her as long as you are going to save her. So at this point in time, some people's lives are worth saving and some are not worth saving. See, as you can see, just seeing this video, my eyes are dim. I don't know how, from where. I was vibrant when I started this video. But at this point in time, I am not feeling me. Because tell me how I am going to save a child that I have not met over myself. Tell me how my health is failing me. And the only way to, and I am pregnant, the only way to save me is to remove the fetus, right? And they said, no, you are not. You can die while we save the child. Which country does that? Which particular? See, if I hear anybody say that Africa is a third world, third world country, we are going to fight hard because the life some people are living ain't worth it. See, I thought it said you guys are pro-life, and you are seeing somebody dying. You don't want to save the person because you feel the child is more important. I have never heard something like this, that I am the one bringing a child to the world. Every woman, there is no woman you are going to meet today that will tell you, save my baby and leave me. So if you save the baby, who is going to take care of the baby when you are gone? Who are you leaving the baby for? Who is the baby for? You are going to save the baby and let the mother die. Like how? See, it's really crazy. On a serious note, this is a very crazy decision. And who are all this going to affect? The same people they use for experiments. Because some people are being used for experiment. Some people are good at it. Give them what they want because they deserve to live. They deserve this life. They deserve the life more than I do. Bye for now.